Well, first of all, I want to welcome you to the Soft Skills channel, where our mission is to help professionals build real life skills for their job and career that they don't teach in college. So thanks a lot for helping us with this effort. And Adeel, as everybody knows, like you are a very famous performer, artist, and a public speaker. So today we'll be asking you some questions about the skill sets on how to be a good public speaker. So very specifically, my first question to you is, tell us about the top 3 hard skills or technical skills which you need to be a good public speaker.
All right, excellent question. Before I answer that, which will take 10 seconds, it's an interesting thing that you mentioned that pretty much every relationship depends on the way we speak, and occupation depends on the way we present ourselves. And I find it really ironic and tragic that no school, college, not in my country, teaches public speaking. And I think it's the greatest educational oversight in educational history. How can we not teach kids how to speak? Okay, to answer your question, the top 3 skills. Okay, I asked a similar question to my voice coach many, many years ago. And he took out a white piece of paper and a pen, and he wrote down the first, the second, and the third quality that a person needs to have, or the skill that one needs to have. And I'll tell you exactly what he said. Many years later, I'll pass on that information. Okay, the first hard skill is diction. The second hard skill is diction. The third hard skill is diction. In one sentence, what is diction? Diction is the ability or the capacity or the skill to select and choose the right words in a sentence. Now, whether you're writing or speaking, how do you choose the right words? Which words to choose? That is the most important skill of any speaker. Is body language not important? It's important. The tone, very important. But the top 3 skills, diction, diction, and diction. Learn which words you should choose for which sentence. That's the foremost and the most important hard skill.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Adeel. And I think I just want to build on what you just said. And that's exactly, like I mentioned, is the mission of my channel, that not a lot of these skills, especially like these fundamental, obvious skills, which I have personally learned these in my workplace, that these are so critical, but nobody teaches them at school. Nobody teaches them in colleges and universities. So thanks a lot for bringing that point again. And on the diction piece, just a follow-up question on that. For somebody who is starting new or who has a lot of aspiration to be a good public speaker, like what are some of the tips you would like to give, like where to start, like how do we build this skill set?
Okay, if you ask this question to a panel of 10 people, they'll all have different answers and they'll all be correct. So I'm the 11th one. I have an entirely different answer to that. Where to begin? Now, to learn any craft, speaking is a craft, painting is a craft, they're all crafts. The problem with learning a craft is it's not linear. There's no point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4 from point A to B to C to D, that like we are taught in school, class 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's not linear, it's non-linear. So pick up any point and just start learning. Start learning. Now, there's no way in hell that you can learn any skill without practicing. You can't learn how to ride a bicycle by reading about it. You can't learn swimming by watching videos on swimming. So you can't learn speaking until you start speaking. So just start speaking. Start recording yourself on a phone or on your computer. Give yourself a topic. Give yourself a timer, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Talk about the topic. Stop the recording. And then look at yourself an hour later. Not right now, not at the time, an hour later. And I think, if you practice it enough, you'll start to improve. And then you'll pick up on, what is it that I'm doing wrong? Or what is it that I'm doing right? So I think the first step towards learning would be start recording yourself and start practicing.
Awesome. Excellent. Thanks a lot, Adeel. That's very helpful. Now, the practice piece actually brings me to my next question, which is, what are the softer skills? And as my channel's name suggests, right, it's really about those soft skills, or probably a lot of people call them human skills, which probably is the more appropriate term. So tell us a little bit about what are the top soft skills needed to be a good public speaker.
Okay, again, like the first question, like the hard skills, there is a list of soft skills, but here's the one that I think tops the list. And especially in this day and age where I feel that everyone is just waiting to be offended. You sneeze and people get offended. You wear a certain thing, people get offended. You don't say something and people get offended. So, the funny thing is, everyone these days is waiting to be. Anyway, so here's an excellent point to start with soft skill to skill. And I'm glad you mentioned the word human skills, because I find them even more important than hard skills. The human skills are even more important. You will find many speakers who don't have a command over the language, who may fumble, and yet they're very powerful speakers or influencers. So their hard skill may not be that polished, but their soft skills are way polished. So here's a foremost soft skill. And not only for any speaker, for any platform. Now, whether it's a family platform or a public platform or Twitter or Facebook, whatever. Just be conscious of this, where the moment you open your mouth to say something to a group of people, your friends, peers, colleagues, bosses, whoever, you lose the right to hold or project any biases. So the good place to start is, now people listening to you may have different political views, different artistic views, different religious views. All of those could be different. Whatever views you have, whatever biases you have, the moment you start speaking, forget those biases. You are a neutral person talking about a topic, unless you're asked about your opinion, which is fine. But as a public speaker, regardless of which topic you're talking about, your biases stay at home. So okay, a safer, boring word is to be more empathetic or to be more respectful towards people's opinions. I just find that less powerful. So leave the biases at home. Now you may have strong likes and dislikes, but keep it behind the curtain. People must not know what your inclinations are. I think that is a good place to start. I think the second skill could be engaging the audience. Now, I think all good speakers, not saying I am one, I'm terrible at speaking, but thank God many people don't know that. A second skill would be, you have to be, if not full, a quarter of a psychologist, because you need to understand how the emotional side works. Now, here's an interesting thing that people say, that good speakers say, which is, your audience will forgive and forget what you said. They will never forgive and never forget for how you made them feel. So their feelings is very important. Now, they may disagree with you, but if you offend them emotionally, they will neither forgive nor forget. So if you can somehow make sure that you safeguard their emotions, then even if they disagree with you, they'll still like you. So I think safeguarding their emotions is very important, which is, again, a continuation of what I said earlier, to leave your biases at home so you don't offend people. Be cautious of their biases, because they're not the ones leaving them at home. Their biases are with them. So be cautious of their emotions. Okay, the third one would be to gauge, or to have your pulse, to have your hand on the pulse of the audience, where you realize you're losing the audience. You need to stop. You've overstretched. That's one. Or you're doing great. Keep the tension there. Keep the interest going. Keep pushing. It's going fine. And you're realizing, I've reached the crescendo. I've reached the tipping point. From here on, it's downhill. Let me stop here. Which is what I'm going to do right now.